And this is Supervisor Richard Forster. We're back with TSPN, and if you cannot tell, we have a major power outage. This is Monday of this week. Ione and Jackson are out, and I imagine most of Amador County. So it's pretty big, but at TSPN, once again, we have overcome the obstacles, and we're back on with our County Assessor, Jim Rooney. Jim, how are you doing today?
Hello, Richard. Pretty good. Pretty good. Except for this outage, everything's going fine.
Yeah. Well, the assessor's office keeps running rain or shine, right?
Yeah. I bet not everybody wishes that. But no, I just called back there, and the county has generators, which have kicked in, and so everything's going fine at the county.
So government is here to serve you, and backup generators have come on. And, I have a backup generator, too, so I probably am one of the few people with power in the county.
I have candles. We really do. We have a whole bunch of candles. The last power outage, we couldn't find our candles. We looked all over for them, and when it all came back on, we found where they were.
And that's the problem with candles, whether it be flashlights, candles, or anything else. But
yeah.
We're in the holiday season.
Can I tell you something about the candles?
Sure.
When the powder outages go out like this, if you have a family, you can get everybody around the table, you put candles out, you play games, you tell stories. It's a wonderful time during the holiday season. Heck, sometimes I think people ought to take the electricity, shut it down just to do that sort of thing, get the family together.
You mean people have to figure out what to do without TV and radio and video games?
And all the kids are laughing and having fun, and you're rolling dice or playing cards. Oh, it's wonderful. We have a wood stove at home, so it keeps the place warm. When it happens, it's inconvenient, but you make the best of it, and we've done it. Yeah. As long as we can find our candles.
Yeah, I know when I was a kid, we lived on a big ranch, and we had 3 channels. They were the main channels, that's it, no cable and all that, but we spent more time because there were more bad things on TV, playing board games and things like that.
Oh, gosh, yeah. And it's fun. The last few days, the boys have had out, I have 2 boys at home, they had out Monopoly. They had out Mousetrap. Remember that game, Mousetrap? Oh, we're having a lot of fun. So.
I always liked the one, the guy who was about semi-nude, and you had to, what was that one
Operation.
called? Operation, that's right.
Oh, gosh, we got in trouble with that game. Yeah, that's a fun game. You need batteries for that game, but so it's a fun game.
Just make sure you have batteries on board. So with that, we're going to talk about something a little more serious. The SRA, or the State Responsibility Area fees, or tax as some people have called it, where I know Howard Jarvis has filed their lawsuit statewide now, and they're challenging that. Estimates are that's going to take 1 to 3 years before that's resolved. What is the legislature doing now? Where are we with the SRA fees?
Well, I heard that last week they made these fees permanent from the standpoint of the legislature saying these are permanent fees. If Howard Jarvis is successful in their lawsuit, they will be overturned, and obviously they won't be permanent. But they've decided this is going to be an ongoing fee as long as it is considered legal. It will be ongoing until the legislature cancels it. So it looks like we're stuck with these fees for a long time, unless the lawsuit to overturn it is successful. And I think it's a very good chance that it will be successful, because it seems rather obvious this is an increase in taxes, even whether they call it a fee or not.
Yeah, that is correct. There is another facet to this, though. Now there's a new word in the legislature and in the state called conversion. And now that there's a supermajority in the Assembly and the Senate, the Democrats control both houses now. The governor's obviously Democratic. Doesn't mean he's always going to agree with them, but he does agree with them on State Responsibility Area fees. It has been said at our RCRC meeting last week that the democratically controlled Assembly and Senate now may roll this fee into a tax and just pass it with their 2/3 majority. Yeah. And if that happens, that probably takes everything else out of play.
It would take the lawsuit off the table. It would no longer be the lawsuit, I guess, would be dismissed or withdrawn, and that's very troubling that would happen. And I hope it doesn't. If it does happen, I would like to suggest that some legislators, in the foothills, propose a flood tax fee and maybe an earthquake fee for those counties that are very prone to floods and earthquakes. So we might as well make this equal. We're not very subject to floods here. We're not subject to earthquakes the way they are. If we're going to pay for everything through fees or through extra taxes, let's have everybody. It seems like the foothill counties are being punished by these fees.
Well, it does appear like it's those counties that did not vote for the governor and that don't have the say-so, because we have lots of acres here, but we don't have a lot of voters. So in that way, we are punished in a way by a lot of these fees or taxes that are being put into place. There's double taxation, triple taxation on this one. For us, I figure it's quadruple taxation for us and for many other people because of the multiple taxes we're paying. Some people have a private assessment they're paying with their fire district. Yes. They have the Measure M fee. You have AFPD that has fees that are being assessed on different areas. So in a lot of places there are 3 to 4 taxes by the time you put this SRA tax on top of everything else.
Yeah, you know, in addition to that, you say we have a lot of acres up here, and we do. We also, at least it's my belief, we have the population with probably the lowest per capita income. We're lower than the Bay Area, but substantially the incomes are substantially lower than Southern California. We have essentially the least amount of money to be paying these extra fees. It's an extra punishment here. People in San Francisco or in the Bay Area, the homes where the average home value is assessed at $400,000 or $500,000 compared with $150,000 here. That $150 fee doesn't mean nearly as much to them as it does to us. It's a much higher percentage. So it's very frustrating, and it makes me a little bit angry that these fees have been imposed on us. And you know what makes it most frustrating is when you talk about the conversion, changing over, making it a tax, not a fee. There's nothing we can do about it. We're stuck with it. They're shoving it down our throats, and we have to pay it.
Well, even more frustrating than that, Jim, is that right now it's set at $150. I know when I got mine, it was reduced down to about $115. Yeah. It's not enough money for them to recover to do any good. So the governor has said he's in favor of increasing this fee in the future, and I think that's the way it's going to go. You're going to see this thing in a couple of years not be $150. It's going to be $450.
Gosh, that's extra troubling. And I don't know what to say about it, other than maybe maybe you shouldn't worry about contacting your local legislator. Maybe you should go straight to the governor's office, because our local legislators are on your side already. Although, how did Huber vote on this? Did she vote for the...
I can't say one way or the other. I'm not sure, so I'll have to stay away. We got just 1 minute. I want to ask you one more question. Sure. Since you brought up the property valuation, Prop 13 is being looked at as a possible source of revenue for the state, increasing that from our 1% now. Some counties are as high as, what, 4%?
No, everybody in the state is at 1%.
Now, I was told that there are some counties that are higher than that now.
Well, no, every property tax in the state is 1%. There are some counties that put special assessments. We have a special assessment in this county. It's about 0.015%. That's the school bond issue we passed about 8 years ago.
Okay, but the legislature is talking, in the short time we have left, about increasing that to 1% or
well, I've heard that they're talking about lowering the threshold for voting, passing a tax from 67% down to 55% for school issues.
Okay. We're going to have to leave it at that. That will be a topic for our next discussion with our County Assessor, Jim Rooney. Thank you for being here today.
Thanks.
All right. And this Supervisor Richard Forster, thanks for joining us today, and I hope your power comes back on soon.
You're watching Amador County's local television network, TSPN.